Hi, Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. In wood turning, we turn a lot of different woods, but some woods are harder than others. This happens to be the root of a rose that I dug up a bit ago. My yard seems to have an excess of them. And so I've tried to turn this different little vase. It actually came from this part of this root. The root came down to about here and then just tended to flare out. I guess it hit hard pan in the dirt. But I'm not sure exactly whether to call this a success or not, but yeah, let's call it a success. And then I'm not sure what to do with this. Do you have suggestions? And meanwhile, let's turn this piece of this root.
In preparing this chunk of rose, I first pressure washed the root to remove as much dirt as possible. Then I trimmed the side roots, but not completely. I want to see if I can incorporate them into the vase. This root is unusual in that all roots seem to radiate out from at the same level. We'll see. I'm putting the cut side to the headstock on a stem center. Since the roots radiate, I can find a place to put the live center in between. Most of the side roots quickly disappeared. I guess I do not want a Medusa vase. I am a wood turner and not much of a carver. After just a little, I adjusted the tailstock just a little to try to center it better. Then cut a tenon on the bottom that I can use to mount this piece of rose. Then back to shaping the vase little by little. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to get from this little Rosie. I'm hollowing with a spindle gouge to cut from the center out before switching to a round nose scraper for the deep center and refinement. I'm still practicing on the center cut to make sure I have the gouge closed enough to not catch and do a nice cut. So good practice. I switched to the exterior to refine the shape, mostly with a spindle gouge. I'm trying to balance the visual sense of the roots, the voids, a smaller base, and the thickness of the sidewalls. Trying to plan ahead, I went to the back side of the lathe to cut a groove on the inside of the vase. I want to use it to reverse and remount the vase later. There's still a lot of bark in this piece. I'm spending some time now to try to scrape it out from between the roots. Right now, the top edge is really ugly, and there are voids and still a lot of bark inclusions. I'm going to try to carve the bark out, widening the inclusions, and shaping the top edge. I'm using my not recommended reciprocal carver. Finally, I'm reversing the vase on the groove I cut earlier. This gives me a chance to refine the base just a little. Although the wood is very wet, I'm sanding a little now on the lathe with coarse sandpaper. Then I'll let it dry a couple of days to make it easier for final hand sanding. Then sand, sign, and finish with walnut oil. My rose vase is finished. It's growing on me. It is unique. The side roots and voids look like fingers reaching up. I still have a larger chunk of the same root. I'd appreciate ideas of what to turn with it and more yet to be harvested from my yard. How many turnings from rose have you seen? And we'll see you again next week for another wood turning video. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and tell your friends. Always wear your full face shield. Goggles are not enough protection. Until next week, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. Let's keep on turning.